Hey everyone, welcome to the Two Idiots podcast once again. As usual, this is your host Ravi, and on the other side is my good friend Ruben.
Hello.
And joining us again today is our good friend Singaram. Singaram, it's been a while. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, we're doing great.
How are you guys here?
Yeah, we're good, bro. Yeah.
We're very good.
Nice.
So Singaram, you have some exciting topic in store for us today. What are you going to talk to us about today?
Yeah, okay. So I think based on my background, like you can tell, you get an idea of what I'm going to talk about. So it's space. So that's the theme of the latest news here in Singapore for
Okay.
both this since Tuesday onward, space-related activities have been going on in Singapore. So, and the biggest news yesterday is that the government has agreed to, has announced that it will fund 150 million to space R&D in Singapore. So if you let me share my screen, just a minute, I'll just show you.
Yeah, I think I gotta give you permission. Yeah, you should be able to do it now.
Okay. Yeah. So this happened in the Global Space and Technology Convention 2022. So that happened both yesterday and today. And in it, the guest of honor was Minister for Trade and Industry, Mr. Gan Kim Yong. And he announced that the government will be investing 150 million into space research and development to bolster Singapore's space capabilities. So besides this, in fact, Singapore Space and Technology Limited, that was the organizer of this convention, they were very kind enough to let me be a volunteer. So they also agreed that they will be setting up a commercial fund, the Asia's first dedicated commercial fund for startups venturing into space research. So this gives you an idea of how exciting space industry is going to become in Singapore. It's already booming, and right now it's going to be like the hotbed for space research, not just for Singapore, but collaboration with all the other countries in the world. So in fact, like, yeah.
No, I just want to ask in space, what sectors do they want to focus on? Is it like pretty much everything about space, or?
So this program that they are investing money in, they are currently looking at areas like aviation, maritime, and sustainability. So to give some examples, like maritime, preventing overfishing, and sustainability, like spotting illegal deforestation.
You monitor from space.
Yeah, basically, and also when it comes to maritime, I think viewing maybe the business of ports, which are good trade routes to take. Aviation, maybe identifying maybe potential attacks.
Aircraft,
Yeah. So, and I mean, the good thing is that now the capabilities in space worldwide have increased to the extent that if you know specifically where you want to do surveillance on, it's possible to do good surveillance, because from what I saw at the convention, they have brought down the resolution of satellite images to 15 cm, in fact.
Okay.
So which means you can see even very detailed features. So that's one good thing. That is actually in Airbus exhibit. What we had there was, it was really high resolution image of Singapore. So I'm just opening that up. Yeah, so you can see here, if you see my screen. So this is Sentosa.
Okay.
I agree that it doesn't look maybe too high resolution because my phone camera took photo of this, so it will be a bit blurred. But actually, it's a really high level of detail.
So how far is it from space?
Trees. How far is it from
space?
Okay, so this actually good question. I didn't ask them which orbit this satellite is in, but this satellite is called the Pleiades Neo. So there's plenty of information available on it. So it was launched in April 2021. So it provides a really high resolution optical imagery. And if you talk about cost, they charge 18 euros per square kilometer. So which is actually very reasonable.
Is it owned by Airbus?
Because
I see the name Airbus.
yeah, this one is by Airbus, the photo I showed, but they have a competitor, Maxar, that also, has the same 30 cm resolution capability. So this image, I mean, the real one was 30 cm resolution, but then they can do machine learning to improve it to 15 cm resolution if needed. Just it becomes more costly.
What exactly
So
does
you can
30 cm resolution mean in this context?
it means that points that are that 1 pixel on an image represents 30 cm of area. So if you have 2 points that are 30 cm apart, they will appear as 2 different pixels on the image.
Okay.
So meaning to say that you can distinguish between 2 plants that are 30 cm apart. They will appear as 2 different pixels on the image. So it makes it very easy to resolve. So this my camera is low resolution, so you can see that it all looks blurred.
Yeah.
But on the actual image, the real one, you can see the individual like groups of trees,
So what
and you
would be
can see the cars and.
So what would be a use case for this, Singaram, for such a high resolution camera from space to spy on someone?
Yeah, spying is one thing for sure. It'll just so spying, but also monitoring like different like trends, such as for example, if you want to see the crop quality, you want to see how like what type of plants are. So you see that's the level of resolution we're talking
You
about.
can
So
actually,
if you
yeah,
Wow,
you
beautiful.
can
if you
actually
want to see
monitor.
that number of
Yeah,
number
you
of
can,
cars on the road, you can count.
Okay.
if you can actually monitor your borders, and then in investing, these guys uses these space satellite images to estimate the traffic of certain companies, Walmart, what is the foot traffic like based on the uh, parking lot occupancy.
Correct.
And then some Chinese companies, they will look into those companies to see if the activities are really going on. And then let's say you take manufacturing company like Tesla or something, they can keep monitoring every day what is their lot occupancy like, so that they can estimate the car production. Using that, you can forecast what could be their possible revenue. So yeah, so some investment bankings are already renting out these satellites to do the estimates.
Hedge funds as well. And
Yeah,
I also read about some oil and gas companies which use these satellites to basically look at world oil production. Like basically from space. I think, Singaram, when you were moving your cursor, I could along this video I could see one of the pictures, like these crude oil and diesel and petrol storage tanks, right? They have floating roofs. They move up and down, so you can see the roofs moving up and down from the satellite. So based on that, they can estimate how much supply is there in the system, and whether we should produce more of these oils and petrol or not.
we could also estimate, the GDP of the no, not GDP, but probably the exports and imports of the country by looking at monitoring the ports. Basically, everyday monitor,
Yeah.
count the containers, and then you create a relational database. So this today I have this many containers, and tomorrow I have this many containers, and then that equates to this much of GDP for the quarter. And then you can forecast in future, what would be the estimated.
And
So
places like California, right? There are a lot of these forest wildfires. I think you can see
yeah,
it from satellite. Right? So see it just when the fire is starting, so you can control it very fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
not let it grow into a very big wildfire. Yeah, a lot of use
Is there
cases.
any way, yeah. Is there any way that we could do SOS? I mean, using an image, can you detect immediately that some person is in need of help? I just create a huge blanket that's like a few meters apart, in few square meters apart. And then I write SOS, and then I just show, oh, you guys see from space, and then get help, those kind of stuff. I'm not sure.
Oh, that's a cool thing. Yeah. So yeah, actually that's very cool.
You
I
just
wonder
monitor
whether
for
it is that maybe 15 same. So the other thing to consider about these satellite images is that they have different pricing. So it's also about how much the government is willing to pay, or the organization. Because if you want satellite image data from 90-day, like they told me their pricing, if it's, I mean, Maxa told me, so if it's within 90 days, it's more expensive than data that's 90 before 90 days. So I think they need to balance things that are looking to monitor long term. So I don't think there'll be organizations willing to often spend money to do real time second by second monitoring of every part. So that comes in the issue. Maybe they will need to monitor. They'll need to pay for real time monitoring just for certain regions, maybe like you say the high population density areas. Then that type of thing, yeah, the blanket, then they can detect that. But yeah, maybe, and for the rest of the areas they can do like longer term, so it becomes cheaper and easier, because the satellite is also revolving all the time, right? So it will, I think there might be some blind spot sometime. They might
uh,
not be at that area, and then there will be cloud cover.
I mean, let's say that we want to see the understand the competitiveness of Singapore port in comparison to other ports in Asia. So we could actually get everyday data basically of all the ports that we think are potential competitors, and then we can accumulate the data over a period of time, probably more than 1 year, and then try to make sense of the actual numbers with regards to the port traffic. So this will be actually helpful for us to like understand the economy. If basically what you can do is, so these guys charge money, right? So probably you work with them, and then the government pays them the money. You just rent one satellite for 1 year, and then you gather all the data, and then if it makes sense, then they could actually move on to the continuously monitoring the thing. So it sort of has a commercial value, economic value as well.
And the government launched their own satellites instead of renting.
Yeah, they could definitely launch their own satellites. Yes.
Like if you look at countries like India, right, US, India, so we launch our own satellites, geosynchronous satellites.
Yeah.
I think,
What we can do is, if government is interested, then we do the analytics part.
yeah,
So we grab the data, and then we monitor the shipping containers, and then we could actually estimate. Then a few other things that we can do is, we can actually that's too hard, monitor the traffic, and then correlate with the port, and then correlate with the economic numbers, but that's too much.
yeah, that
I
might be a
mean,
bit hard to do.
yeah.
No, but I think that's going to be possible soon based on what they're saying. Like, I mean, that will all be there. Ideal, like whoever gets there first is going to be richer, right? Also, I think they have like, yeah, like, sorry. So, yeah, like, okay, I lost my train of thought a bit there, but yeah, I think they are working towards that. Okay, if I can remember what I was trying to say, I'll come back to it. But
So apart from the
basically, it
Indian
is very
waters,
competitive. Sorry. Yeah, they were basically saying that now, right now, they're getting lots of data actually,
Mm.
because there's so many constellations up there. But there is also a bottleneck in terms of the data processing. So they were telling in the panel that they need to see how they can analyze the data to get more useful information. In
Or
a way,
what
it feels
you
to
can do
me.
is, you
Hmm.
don't have to go to the satellite part itself. I mean, to make use of the $150 million, we just figure out a way to analyze, process the data, and then we just work on the data processing side. We rent out all the Amazon, Azure cloud servers, and then we just feed the dump the data, and then let it come out other side as interpretable data. That could be a one possible way, for startups to explore. Yeah, I mean, trying to make sense out of these data, and then you charge back these satellite companies for the data processing. Else, let's say that some guy who want to make a commercial value out of this data, and then these guys have these data but that's not processed, and then the other guy is ready to pay, and then it's a three-party network, so we form and then we do the data process, image processing basically for them. So we just have to figure out if they have samples data, and then we see how efficiently we can process, and then if we can process it, then we sign a contract. Yeah, that could be the case.
This
You
company,
have all.
this insurance
Yeah,
company called Lemonade, the startup, Lemonade.
yeah.
Ganam, have you heard of them?
No.
Lemonade
What
share
about
price.
it?
Yeah, so basically this is like
Please.
it's a new age insurance company in the US, and
Okay.
yeah, they're publicly listed in the US. So their stock was a very hot stock in 2020. So I was reading 2 years ago that this company, right, they actually use satellite data to save on paying insurance claims. For example, one of the things they insure is houses of people. So let's say you are a homeowner in the US and you get
Yeah.
insurance, wildfire insurance on your house. Like let's say you live in California and you want to insure
Yeah.
your house against wildfire. So you get an
Okay.
insurance policy from Lemonade. You pay the premium every year. So apparently these guys, they own some satellite bandwidth or something, and they can actually see the fires approaching, and they have some AI which
Oh.
can predict, okay, this fire will reach this region of houses. So using that, they will immediately contact the residents who have gotten insurance from Lemonade in that area and ask them to evacuate.
Okay.
So by doing this, they don't need to pay any claims because they have already warned these people, right, that the fire is approaching.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
smart. Okay.
yeah.
They work
Then
in hand with the government.
after hearing just what you said, so these guys can give data that's of the TCM accuracy. We could also try to monitor home occupancy rate across any country basically. So that actually tells you, are these houses are occupied, or it's just it's just floating around. So that's what in the movie, in the Big Shot, the other guy, the other guy who's the very nice character. What's the name? I forgot. Michael
Michael,
Burry and the other guy.
the nice guy.
Yeah, no, he will often swear.
Oh yeah,
His brother jumped off the building.
Steve,
Mike Bowman, Mark Bowman or something. Steve Bowman or something.
Steve Eisenberg.
So what, right? What this guy did. So I had him as my wallpaper for some time, and I forgot his name. Something Bowman or Bowman or something. Well, I can check.
Look up his name. Yeah, he's a Jewish guy.
Yeah, Mark
Bowman.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what did he say?
What this guy did was he actually went to the inner cities in US, and then he tried to look at the home prices and the occupancy rate of houses across. And then he just realized that most of the houses are not occupied, and then one person had more than one house.
Yeah.
And then yeah, so these kind of things, based on that, he actually realized that okay, there is a bubble. So if there is any way that one could predict the occupancy rate of the area basically, then we could actually sort of estimate, are these ghost houses or is it really occupied? If they are ghost houses, or if there is a change in trend from occupied houses to ghost houses, then you can actually forecast something is happening to the economy. Yeah. I mean, these ideas, you have a lot of ideas, but yeah, so you already have a few, bro. So if you
So
could
it's
make a sense.
actually cool. So right now, actually, I think knowing you, Ruben and Ravi, so your advantage is that you're able to pivot between various fields quickly, like today's space and yesterday another thing. And so the thing is that, so from based on your ideas, I think it would be ideal for maybe there is this space hackathon, I think also going to happen soon. So I
Okay.
think so it's something we can consider. I'll try to dig up some details on it because I think the deadline is not yet over. So
Mm.
because that type of thing, then you can quickly innovate and they'll give access to that high res data probably that you need, and then you can work out what you can analyze. Because right now, if not, yeah, because right now these data is paid, many of the high res data.
Yeah, I can
So
Okay.
imagine. Yeah.
and they have a minimum. Normally I think countries they need either we can request for a sample online, or if you really want then they'll have a minimum square kilometer, 25 square by 25,
No, bro, my
5 by
pockets
5
are
I
empty,
think.
bro. I can't pay for it.
Yeah,
If they
yeah,
can
that's
give
right.
data, so we have some idea, we can do something.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Sorry.
Who is that?
And I
Yeah.
accidentally.
Even we also don't know how to
this
respond.
this company was that they are getting the funding under that 150 million.
Oh, what is this
They've
company?
developed like a they developed like a low cost hyperspectral imaging camera.
Mm.
Now hyperspectral, my what I get about hyperspectral is that it can, they use a different spectra to generate information, like maybe like the terrain
Mm.
height,
Mm.
like height of crops, to detect like what stage they're in, things like that. So they use the different spectral bands. So basically, these guys they've come up with a very cheap camera which can do the same functions as what's around.
So this
So
hyperspectral camera, it has to be mounted on a satellite, is it?
yeah. It doesn't have to be. So they have some for medical imaging, even art monitoring. This I was curious because Ruben is a lot in NFTs.
Yeah.
See, they say art. There's no, because Ruben, yeah. So this like you can see if it's pirates, if it's a pirated art version or is that original. So
NFTs, let's not go to NFT, bro. It's boring. Just, yeah, I mean, we just do something that's more software. So it's actually less money to do if you want to do anything at all.
oh,
Uh,
it's used for quite a lot of things. So yeah.
I was just thinking, Singaram, have you seen this movie called Pushpa, the Indian movie?
No.
You
But
know,
I heard it's something about forest, illegal forest
yeah, it's
timber.
illegal deforestation. So you can basically use this satellite to monitor the species of trees and see if smugglers are cutting it down.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's a big problem. There is a very special kind of tree called red sandalwood, which grows in the hills of a region called Andhra Pradesh in India. So these trees are cut down and
Okay.
smuggled to China and Japan. It's an endangered species.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just a thought.
Hmm. So besides then they also had this Changi. This is, I think, this is a military and Singapore Red Cross. How they use satellite data to predict humanitarian issue like disasters and then provide relief. So I think they do. Probably they can see when there is a natural disaster impending and then do evacuation, like
Okay.
you said.
Mm.
But disaster relief was also probably it's already struck. So 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 if it's already struck, then I'm not sure if how the satellite image data actually still helps them. if
No,
it's already happened?
no, you can prioritize where to send the helicopters, and you can prevent further damage, right? Like let's say, that
Okay.
there is a fire spreading very fast. So,
Yeah.
up until now, firefighters, they randomly try to fight the fire. They just send in as many
Yeah.
helicopters as possible and try to spray water.
Hmm.
But if you have satellite data,
Yeah.
if you look at it from up above, you know where the fire is heading towards, and
Yeah.
you can target all your limited resource into the right areas. You can prioritize action.
Hmm.
And in the case of floods, let's say, there are some group of people who are stuck somewhere, and you
Yeah.
can't, you really can't see them, if you're looking from land, or even if you're looking from helicopter. But maybe from space, since you have such a high resolution camera,
Yeah.
you'll be able to see this group of people stranded somewhere, so you can immediately send help, before they die or something.
Hmm. Okay.
And then you can also take inspiration from the Malaysian flooding, right? So
Mm.
people were pretty much stranded everywhere.
Yes.
So if you could, yeah,
Yeah,
if they could,
right now how it is done is, two or three helicopters will take off, and they'll just randomly scour the area and try to see if there are any people, which is very ineffective and cost intensive. But if you have, like, high resolution 1 kilometer square pixel, you can very easily see, right, like where people are.
Hmm.
Good point, Ruben. Yeah. The Malaysian floods could have been used there.
And besides this, they also had this also. So NTU is working a lot on this, on remote sensing very low Earth orbit. So there was this company called Aliena, which actually they are like one of the world's first companies to use this, this specific type of ion thruster technology for very small satellites. So they miniaturized the ion thruster technology. So so basically ion thruster is like, they inject a bit of gas, and then the electric and magnetic fields are like perpendicular to each other, but it basically it ionizes the gas and generates plasma. So when that plasma is ejected, so in the opposite direction, this thing moves the satellite. But the advantage is that it has their technology, this technology has very high thrust to power ratio. So
Okay.
even with very less power, it has a lot of thrust. So this means that the satellite can stay up for longer, and which is a good thing. So I guess this is another company that will probably get the funding too.
Can
So
it,
these are more like Earth observation type of, yeah.
yeah,
But they have a lot of resources too.
can you actually weaponize this? I'm not talking about this propulsion system in particular, but can you actually weaponize these satellites and use them like space lasers or something? Because Donald Trump, when he was president, right, he created this space force
Okay.
that just popped into my head.
Salesforce.
No, space
Yeah,
force.
actually this. Oh, yeah, I think that is an issue. I think that's why they have a lot of regulation. And besides that, actually, this leads on to another very interesting topic they brought about, which is that how do you prevent hacking of these satellites?
Oh,
Because once they are up, so how do you prevent like hackers from intercepting your satellite and making it behave like they want, like
yeah.
surveil another area, bring it out of orbit, or hit another satellite and damage it? So this actually a cyber security company was pitching itself.
Hmm.
It was, I'll need to check the name, but it was basically they are using blockchain to to secure everything, to make it unified and very secure.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool, because actually cyber security companies, I only saw there's only one company that I saw. So this is quite cool. If that one company can monopolize the entire, you see, yeah, this block armor.
I've heard of that.
Because yeah, because but the other issue, if there's just this one or two companies, is that if a hacker finds one issue with this, they can, and if every company adopts the same thing, then they can easily maybe hack into the others.
Oh,
But
wow.
basically, these guys offer that service.
Okay. Interesting. Wow. It's all very high tech stuff.
Yeah, it's really high tech.
So what was
There
this?
is one more. What?
What was his
So
proposal?
what? So they offer, like he said, like basically there is possible hacking both in the
Yeah, yeah.
space, like inter-satellite communication, and also in satellite to ground station, this downlink, and then also to the eventual, the devices like planes and all. So every step of this is susceptible to hacking. So currently, the technologies they have for preventing hacking, this technology that prevents hacking here is not covering here. So they have like separate technologies. So the thing is that it makes, he says that it's hard to, I mean that it's because it's harder to to for to strengthen all of them since they're separate. So at least one of them is vulnerable. So he is proposing using, they are having a method using blockchain that will unify all of this end-to-end unified secure access.
Hmm. Okay.
And there is a zero trust the concept that they ask everyone to adopt. That whatever it is, you don't trust anyone in your. So they test it, keep testing it.
Ruben, I think Elon Musk's company, is it SpaceX? They're trying to create some kind of broadband, right? Using satellites, high-speed broadband.
Yeah, yeah. He's sending out all these Starlink satellites, right? So I think a few days back he launched 49 Starlink. 40 of them got smoked by Geostorm something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
solar.
So, and he's charging 2.5K or 3.5K for the dish and the setup box or something. So it's actually like it's portable. You can take it anywhere you want.
Oh,
Uh, yeah, so that's the cool thing. And then you have a minimum of 150 megabytes per second speed. So it's for enterprise application. And then on top of that, you have to pay 500 bucks a month.
oh, so it's not for individual use, is it?
Yeah, I mean, if one is fine paying 500 bucks a month, then yeah, whoever's budget is 500 bucks a month, then it should be fine. So, but the thing is, just nature proved that, let's say that you buy the service, so you invested 2.5, 3.5K on that one, and then you supposed to pay 500 bucks every month. But now the satellites are smoked. So now you should have an alternative option. The internet is like water, right? These days
Yeah. You
for
can't
business.
survive without it.
Without that, it's just too hard.
Yes.
So I'm not sure how reliable this is going to be in the long run. Even though your technology is like more than 100% perfect, you just can't predict nature. Or you can have contingency satellites, which will affect the performance of your network basically.
Or maybe they can
So
try to build some, special shield or something which can withstand the effect of these storms. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I don't know anything about
I
this.
think this is like the ant trying to build a protection cover around it. You can just still squeeze it off, right? That's what we are to them. Yeah. And then those satellites will pretty much be the same.
I don't know if you guys are aware. Actually, Google was trying something similar, but not with satellites. So they basically wanted to bring low-cost broadband to the entire world. So their idea was they launched these hot air balloons, not exactly satellites, hot air balloons that'll just keep floating at a certain height, and they will basically hold all these broadband transmitters, and they will transmit to ground stations. But they found it very technically challenging, and they basically closed that project. They said it's not
And then
feasible.
also Facebook tried with their drone, right?
They did.
The low power drone. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With
What happened to that project?
solar panel. I don't know. I didn't follow that one.
Yeah.
But I know that those guys tried with the drone with solar panel, and then they should stay in the stay in the flight, for long time to be, cost effective than robust.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like
I
a
think
very robust plan.
we have like 3 minutes around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we just take our conversation accordingly towards the end.
Yeah, I think that was a great discussion, Singaram. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
I had no idea about this
So,
convention. Thanks a lot.
Wait,
so the good thing is I'm writing an article on it that so don't worry, like whatever info that you missed with that I'll put it up, like if you just want a general event coverage. So that's
Hyper
see a
Erudite is
lot of
still
events.
active. Wait, let me share my
Oh,
screen.
nice.
Yeah, we can actually
Oh.
end. Yeah,
Yeah, and just do
Okay,
me a,
perfect.
yeah, we'll end this recording. Just Singaram, just do me a favor later on. Just send me the links to those videos. I'll put them in the description so people can take a look. The videos.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys. I hope
Okay.
you had fun listening to Singaram and Ruben and myself talk about all these interesting space and satellite related applications.
Oh yeah, by the way, this whoever is watching, so this Aliena.sg, the one that I said about the miniaturizing ion thrusters.
Mm-hmm.
So they are looking for an embedded system engineer. So if anyone watching or any of your friends want, you can approach them. They're looking specifically.
That's good information. Thank you for
Yeah.
bringing it up. Well, all right, guys. Take care. Have a great weekend ahead. Signing off. This is Ravi,
Yeah.
Ruben, and Singaram. Take care. Bye.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Singaram.